Hey guys, Bradley here from Armour Detail Supply, and today I'm here to introduce you to the newest version of our Armour Quartz Coating. We've made some slight formulation changes for a better user experience, and I'm really excited to get this out into the market because I think it's gonna fit the most amount of people. It strikes the right balance of performance as well as just crazy easy to use for a newer installer or a DIYer. So we have a lot to unpack in this video. Let's get right into it. So continuing on with the full revamp of our coating lineup with the introduction of Phobic as well as the new version of our Pro coating that was recently announced, now being available to everyone. We are now onto the new version of our Armour Quartz Coating, and I'm really excited for this one because I think it's gonna fit the most amount of people. It really strikes the right balance of, number one, cost. It's obviously half the price of our Pro coating, giving you still really great durability, 3+ years, great chemical resistance, improved hydrophobics over the previous version, improved slickness majorly. That was one thing we really focused on with this new coating, was giving you extremely slick wipe off experience as well as aftercare down the line. And now the main improvement, which is ease of use. Now, all of our coatings are very easy to use, but with the Armour Quartz Coating, we wanted to make it even easier. So what we did with this coating was make it so that even hours later, you can remove high spots by just wiping a little bit harder or using additional coating from the bottle to reactivate and then wipe off the layer. So if you are a new installer or coating a vehicle for the first time as a DIYer, this is really the coating that I think you're gonna love, because if you run into any issues during the process, it's very easy to fix by just adding more coating. Whereas with our other coatings like our Pro, that is not gonna be possible. So now you know what changed on sort of a broad scale. What actually changed, right? Well, the previous version of our quartz coating was a very heavy SiO2, very high solids formulation. Our new version of our quartz coating is more polysilazane focused with optical grade resins and a very light solvency system, which aids in that ease of use as well as that reactivation and wipe off even if you have a high spot. With the new formulation, we've been able to accomplish some pretty cool things. Obviously ease of use, but additionally hydrophobicity and slickness. This quartz coating will be the slickest coating in our lineup. Yes, if you've used Phobic, this is even slicker. And that's in the just initial wipe off as well as the after cured coating finish slickness. Also, the hydrophobicity, we have been able to improve it. So now we are measuring this coating at 105.9, measured on an actual test panel that is a painted finish. I know lots of other companies will claim 110, 115, 120, some even say 125 degree contact angle. The problem is these are measured on non-painted panels in a very specific environment. So we actually measured this at 105.9 on a true painted automotive finish, and that is extremely impressive. So now you know all of the things that actually changed on a formulation level. Along with that, we were able to make some changes to form and function. If you know the previous quartz coating, it came in a solid black bottle. A lot of the feedback we got over the years, especially from people coating their cars for the first time, was that they couldn't see how much coating they were using throughout the process, and they were worried that they were gonna run out before they got to the end of the car. So this new quartz coating has a lot more solvency to it, and it's a lot more stable. It allows us to put it in a green, clear bottle, so you're able to see how much coating you're using throughout the process, and just makes it a little bit more enjoyable to use, as well as the use by date on the coating. We're able to extend out the kind of shelf life of the coating. So obviously you're gonna get still a year of the coating unopened, but once you open it, you have up to 90 days, possibly more, to use the coating. We're guaranteeing 90 days the same application experience as when you first crack that seal. Now, you can still use it much long after that 90 days. You may just need to kind of cut your flash times and really just see how that coating is going to work. But as long as the liquid is still clear, there's no cloudiness, and there's nothing starting to kind of clump up and float in the solution, you're still good to use it. Just kind of note that it may flash faster, it may be a little bit harder to use because it's getting a little bit old. So while our Armour Quartz coating is great, it can't do the prep work for you. So let's hop in and go through the proper preparation steps to get the coating applied. First step of the process is starting with a full decon wash with our Armour Detail Supply Decon Soap. This is a high pH shampoo that's designed to decon and prep the vehicle for your ceramic coating. It's going to break down any road grime, any dirt, as well as start to degrade any wax or sealants that may be on the surface. Next step of the process is going in with a chemical decontamination as well as mechanical decontamination. Now you can combine these two steps if you would like, or you can do them separately. First will be your chemical decontamination with our ADS iron remover. This is going to break down any iron particles or fallout that may be stuck to the vehicle's surface. Your mechanical decontamination with your clay bar or your clay scrubber or synthetic clay media is going to remove any bonded contamination that can't be removed via chemical or your traditional wash to really bring a bare, smooth surface ready for polishing. The next step of the process is going in with your machine polishing. This is an optional step, but highly recommended for the proper preparation. This is where you're going to remove any swirls or scratches and bring out the best possible finish for the coating to bond to and improve. After doing all of your machine polishing, you're gonna go in with our Armour Detail Supply Panel Prep. This is gonna remove any polishing oils or any other film that may be present on the surface from the wash and really get you down to a bare, naked paint surface ready for the coating application. So you have finished all of the prep steps for the Armour Quartz coating, and now you are ready to apply. What you're gonna need is a couple first wipe towels. We like using a shorter nap pearl weave, and then a couple second wipe towels. We like a plusher towel for that second wipe. Get a nice skin grip or some sort of lighting source so you can check for any high spots. And then you need obviously your coating and your applicator. So to get into the application, obviously we're going to start with shaking up the bottle, get that formulation nice and activated, get it in one nice solid solution. From there, obviously just crack open your bottle. And we like to prime the applicator with what we say is 3 lines. So basically dump it out and get one nice line on there, do another line, and then another line. So you have 3 nice lines set up on there. In between your application, screw your top back on, keep that coating nice and fresh. From here, you can butterfly this in, or what I like to call butterfly, just to get that nice evenly distributed throughout the pad. And from here, you're gonna start with a 2x2 working area, or roughly 3x3, something shoulder width that you can be comfortable with to understand how the coating is going to, work in your environment. Here right now, I'm in not so ideal conditions. It's middle of summer in Florida. We do have AC, but it struggles to keep up in these big warehouses. I'm at like 80 degrees in here, probably 60, 65, 70% humidity. So it's not fully ideal conditions. I'm not in a nice 70-degree garage with 30% humidity. So my flash time may be a little bit quicker. So that's why we always like to start with just a shoulder width area, get comfortable with it and understand how that coating is gonna work on that car, on that day, and in that environment. So we like to start with doing an X. So you'll mark out your kind of 2x2 area by doing your first initial X. That just gives you a nice place to work off of to help spread the coating, so you're not starting and putting all your coating in one area, and then by the time you're done, you don't have enough to be able to spread. From there, you can box that X in and go around all your edges to make sure those are covered. And then from there, we like to do circles. So you're going to circle, apply like you would a wax, and just fill in and box in all of that application area. There's no need to crosshatch. Once you get those circles done, you are good to go. The circles will help work that in. No need to crosshatch as long as you can see that you've covered everything, you don't have any dry spots. Obviously check your edges and you are good to go. you will start to see the coating flash. Now this Armour Quartz Coating new version has really anywhere from about a minute to 5 minute flash time. Ideally, most people I believe are gonna be in the 1.5 to 2 minute range, which is usually where I'm at in here. I can usually go about 1.5 to 2 minutes in this temperature and it still have a really nice removal. What you're going to see is, you know, to be able to wipe it off, you want to be able to see like some slight beading action, a little bit of haze. You'll see that happen pretty quickly. And then you'll start to see that it will kind of go a little bit clear. So you're gonna start to see that kind of fade away. Once it's gone away about 30 to 50% or so, you'll see it go like complete haze, start to clear out. Once it clears out, you know, 30 to 50% or so, that's when you know you are good to wipe. Again, about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes I think is gonna be most people's application, but it can go anywhere from 1 minute all the way up to 5 minutes, just depending on, you know, again, the temperature and humidities you're working at. So I'm looking here, just making sure everything is good. I'm seeing that you know, uniform haze. I'm starting to see it dry out a little bit. It's not as liquid. It's going a little bit more clear. So we're getting into that. This hood is also a little bit hot as well because we did just prep the car and get this, you know, get this coating installed. So I am now ready to wipe. You're gonna take your first leveling towel, your short nap pearl weave, and just start on one edge. And again, same as the application, you're gonna do nice circular motions, little bit of pressure, and that coating will come right off. You wanna get about 90% of the coating leveled and removed with the first towel. From there, once you've got that all done and you don't see any major spots, you can grab your second towel with your plush towel, and this is just your nice insurance wipe to make sure that you have not missed any coating and you get a full, even, nice application. Again, with this second towel, you also want to go a little bit over the area that you applied just to make sure you're not pushing any coating that could potentially leave a high spot. And you'll feel super duper slick. Again, that wipe off is super enjoyable. There's no tackiness, it's not smeary. It should come off very, very easily and very quickly. And then from there, you can go through, if you don't have a great light source, and just shine a nice light and make sure that you don't have any streaks, you don't have any high spots, and that your coating application is good to go. So now that you've learned your application area with your 2x2 or shoulder width section, being able to now understand what your flash time is like in your environment on that car, now you can start to get into doing some bigger sections if you like, and if your flash time allows it. So in here, like I said, I'm able to go about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. So I'm able to coat a decent you know, panel. I can work probably half of a hood at a time. I can work a door, I can work a fender at one time. That way I'm not doing, you know, little 2x2 sections throughout the whole vehicle. So we're gonna demonstrate that now and how that will work. So you're just gonna put a little bit of coating on the applicator, and then I will start my 2x2 sections, boxing it in, getting it nice and spread out. But the biggest thing we want to talk about with this is, if you're gonna do a larger section, you do not want to just apply to the applicator one time and try to cover the whole hood, because the problem you'll have is you're not gonna have enough coating to spread and you're gonna be running too thin, and then you're not gonna have enough coating to get a nice film build and an application. So you still wanna work your 2x2 areas at a time, adding just enough coating for those areas. But you'll just do multiple sections at a time, giving you, being able to give you a longer, a bigger working area basically at one time, so you don't have to wipe off every individual section. So again, I'm working 2x2, 2x2, adding some more. And this is just making sure that I'm putting the right amount of coating onto the vehicle and onto the paint, giving it enough time to flash. And this is really what you want to see. So Sean, if you can kind of pan in here, this is really, what you want to see. If you're applying and you're not seeing it go on, if you're not seeing you know, a nice like a wet layer of coating, you're not applying enough and you need to make sure you add some more down into the applicator. Realistically, I've timed it just about right to where my first section that I started has been about that 1.5 to 2 minutes or so, just from getting that fully applied to the hood. So now I'm pretty much ready to just go ahead and start wiping that section off and just going through and wiping as in the same direction that I applied. And you'll do your whole first wipe. Again, same circular motion, a little bit of pressure, helping that coating to remove. Making sure that you're seeing about, you know, seeing that beading, seeing that haze kind of dissipate a little bit, going about 30 to 50% clear before you start wiping, which this is. Again, I'm working in not so ideal conditions. It's pretty hot in here. I'm starting to sweat just from working on this one panel. So it's flashing fairly quickly for me. But we can go ahead and get this removed. And again, that first wipe should get 95%, you know, 90 to 95% of the coating off. Second wipe, just your nice final finishing towel, making sure you didn't leave any additional residue, as well as wiping over your application area to make sure you're not pushing high spots onto other panels. And that shows you how you can extend out your working area, get a little bit more done, you know, on the car at one time, and you're not just stuck to your nice 2x2 sections, and you're able to work, you know, multiple panels or at least full panels at a time with this coating, just because it is so easy. Alrighty, so the big thing we wanted to point out with the quartz coating in terms of ease of use is what happens if you leave a high spot. So with some of our other coatings like our Pro coating, if you leave a high spot, even after a few minutes, it's not going to wipe off. It's not going to reactivate with more coating. It's going to need polish because it is going to form a permanent bond onto that clear coat within just a few minutes. Now, the difference is with our quartz coating is you're able to reliquify that solvent layer, you're able to reliquify that coating with more additional coating, and it will wipe off even up to a couple hours later. So that just makes the quartz coating so much more enjoyable, as well as so much more stress-free for a newer installer, because if you do have some mistakes, all of us will have some, you're able to fix it in a much easier manner. So we want to demonstrate that here. So I applied a very generous amount of coating onto the paint in this area, and this is as if I did not even wipe it at all. This was just applied. We left it for over 10 minutes, and I'm gonna show you what happens if I just try to wipe it off, and you'll be surprised. It's been about 10 minutes, and I'm gonna be able to get a lot of this off just by wiping. So let's wipe this off, and you'll see, even that, I'm able to get, you know, like a lot of this is coming off, like especially if I put a little bit of force behind it, I'm able to get a lot of this off, and it's been over 10 minutes, right? So even just that looks a lot better. So if you had a spot, and again, this is not wiped, just straight up applied very heavily, not wiped. So if you had a high spot that you had wiped and you just kind of moved around, likely you'll still be able to get it off just by scrubbing a little harder with your towels. Worst case scenario, you did something crazy like I did, and you're able to get most of it off. But if you look, there's very faint, you know, there's a little bit of faint marks from the solvent and from the coating that has fully dried. Put just a little bit on the applicator, go in where that area is, apply, and when you're applying, just give it a little bit of a scrub. You know, put some pressure behind it. That will help reactivate that layer, and you'll be able to just wipe this right off. And there you go. You fixed a very drastic high spot without any polishing, without any sanding, just a very easy process. So again, this quartz coating is made for a newer installer, a DIYer that's just getting into coatings for the first time, made to be really easy to use so that you have an enjoyable experience. And if you do mess up, you're able to fix it without any fuss. So now we've shown you the application on a broad scale on the whole hood with the quartz coating. Let's dig in deep and show you really on a surface level what the coating is going to look like while it's being applied, as it flashes, and as you wipe it off. So now you've seen the application really on a surface level. Let's talk about where the product can be used, as well as possible layering, cure times, and aftercare for the coating. The new formulation of our Armour Quartz coating is super versatile. It can basically be used on every exterior surface of your vehicle, whether it's your paint, your glass, or your plastics. Now, we're always gonna still recommend using our dedicated glass coating for the windshield because that's gonna give you the best wiper abrasion resistance. Additionally, this new formulation can also be used on vinyl wraps or paint protection films. So if you have those on your vehicle, you can still use this coating and go right over those as well. Let's talk about possible layering with this coating. All of our coatings were designed as single layer coating applications. Now, if you want that 2-layer system, you can layer it with our phobic spray coating. You can do that right after the initial application, or you can do that months or years down the line. If you want to do it right after the initial application, just wait 1 to 2 hours and then you can apply the phobic spray coating. What that works out to is basically install the quartz coating around the whole vehicle, and then you're pretty much right away ready to install the phobic right on top. If you know the previous version of our Armour Quartz coating, you had to wait 12 hours to get it wet and up to 7 days to wash or induce chemicals to the vehicle. This just extended the amount of time you had to kind of keep your vehicle indoors or keep it safe, and especially for a DIY friendly coating, that is really hard to do. So with the new formulation, we were able to accomplish a 4-hour wet cure. So as long as you wait about 4 hours, you're good to get it wet and it can go out into the elements and drive. And 24 hours later, you can wash the vehicle or use any chemicals you might need to on it. So as you can see, the theme with this new formulation of the Armour Quartz coating is just bringing a lot of changes that really just make a very well-rounded product and just really increases the ease of use while still keeping the normal durability that you are used to from our coatings. So now you know absolutely everything there is to know about the new Armour Quartz coating, what it is, the formulation changes, how to install it on a broad scale, as well as what it looks like on a surface level, really digging in deep and showing you what that flash looks like and what the wipe off looks like. So you guys are armed and ready to go ahead and use that new Armour Quartz coating and get a really great installation. So now it's time for you guys to get out there, have some fun detailing, and thank you guys as always for watching.